Alrighty, so this is our vehicle. It's going to be our home on wheels as well for the next 3 months while we travel around Europe. It's a Citroen Berlingo Multispace. It's not really technically a van, they call it an MPV, which is sort of like a crossover, a van, sedan, sort of wagon crossover. But there's plenty of space in the boot. It's a little bit taller than our former Corolla wagon, probably about the same length. So we're going to have to be a little bit tricky with our bed frame. We're going to have to make a little folding bed frame and move the 2 seats forwards to have enough space. We spent the morning picking up some materials. Just moved the camera over here. Got the plywood there and got some screws and fasteners and bits and pieces. We brought over a few things from Australia as well. We got the static cling for the windows and some camping equipment that we're borrowing from my mum. And we're just in the process now of measuring up the van, or measuring up the car, and working out how large the frame is going to be. For this conversion, we're doing something really similar to the Corolla wagon that we did in the past. So that's just an aluminium square tube frame with a plywood folding top. And we are keeping one passenger seat there in the middle in the back. That's just in case my brother ends up joining us while we're traveling. So we decided to keep the middle seat, and we'll just build the bed frame at the top, and we'll make it so the bed frame can come apart and we have access to that third seat. So this is it in its bare form. We've removed the 2 other seats and the little the boot sunshade protector, and we've left them at my mum's house in storage. And now we're sort of getting to the point of putting it together. So I just want to take a quick video now and show you what it looks like with absolutely nothing in it. We just picked this vehicle up yesterday, and we've driven it to Belgium, where we're at a friend's place and we're using the garage and their tools. So I'll pause it for now, and then we'll come back to it when we've done a bit more work. Okay, so it's about an hour and a half later. We have done all the measurements for the frame, and we've cut and installed the frame. So this is the structure here, and it's quite a bit narrower than the actual total width of the back. That will be made up with the plywood. So the plywood will fill out that sort of gap on each side. So we've got a little compartment on each side here, which is where the camping gear, camp chairs, tent, all that sort of stuff is going to be stashed in there, and there's going to be a piece of ply as a little barrier on the side. And then under here, this space is where we're going to have a couple of plastic tubs with our equipment, and then up the front is where we'll have a bit more storage space as well, either side of the seat. So these little joiners here, I've just filed them down on this side on each part where it connects, and that will allow us to actually just use a hammer and pop them off, and then we'll be able to fold the seat up and actually use the passenger seat there as well. So the next stage now is I've got to get the pad out and do some more measurements, and find out the sections of plywood, because I'm doing a folding system. So I'm going to have a fixed piece of plywood in the back, and then 2.5 kind of pieces in the front that will fold out and give us the full length. The frame's about 1.5 meters at the moment, and we need to get a little bit more length. So we'll get that length with the plywood, which will overhang the frame. So it's the morning of day 2. We got a little bit carried away yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to pull the camera out and film an update. So this is it from here. We measured up and cut all of our plywood. All the corners we nipped off and sort of sanded down, so there's no sharp corners or edges. And I've also drilled breathing holes in the sort of the upper sections of plywood where sort of we'll be laying on the most. The reason for the holes is just to help promote airflow underneath the mattress, and so it doesn't get condensation and warm air underneath and cause mold. We've used this sort of technique in the past, and it seems to have always worked. We've never had any problems, so we continue doing it now. It's only a few extra minutes to drill the holes. So all the pieces are there. They're the 3 or multiple pieces for the fold-out section, as well as the little food preparation bench that we're going to do on the back. We've got a section here that we're about to fix in. We did the privacy cling on the windows. Jarla's just fixing up a little one that we did last night where we made a small mistake on it, so sorting that out. But otherwise we've got the cling installed on all the windows, which the camera's kind of tripping out a little bit, but it works really well, the cling. It's about $30 for a few packets, and you just spray some water on and cut it to size and stick it on. We'll also put some aluminium sun reflective bubble wrap sort of stuff behind the windows as well for extra privacy at night time. So all good so far. Gonna fasten these sections down and start attaching the hinges for the fold out section, and also to install that little bench which is just going on the back here, just a little fold out bench for food prep. Underneath we've got the bits of ply. Unfortunately we didn't have enough ply to do the full height top to bottom, so I got some thin leftover ply that was here in the shed, and I cut that down to size and attached it on. This is really just to stop luggage that's stored in those little side compartments from falling down, so it performs its function. So I've got my lovely assistant, my younger brother Teo, giving me a hand to do a little demonstration. The frame hasn't been strapped down yet, so it's still a little bit loose inside the back there. But we'll just show you quickly how the system works. So this is what it looks like folded back, so that will fit into the boot and allows the front poles to be removed and then that middle seat to be put up and used. So to fold it out, Teo will show you. Just fold the first piece forwards and then kind of bring it all forwards, and you end up with your full length. There we go. So that length is about 1.85 meters, 1.9 meters maybe, which is just long enough for the an average height fellow to sleep in the back. It fits our mattresses perfectly. We do have to move our front seats forward as far as they go to be able to work. And we've got the frame runs to where the seats go when I'm driving, and we've got the that little extension piece that's just really just to prop up the end of the mattress. So that does sag a little bit, but we've just tested it out with a bit of weight on it and it holds it up pretty well. So we're happy with that. So the next step now is to mount on the rear fold out table. It's just over in the yard, just on top of that white drum. It's just drying out at the moment. We just put a layer of oil on it, kitchen bench oil. So we'll mount that on and put some hinges on it. And we're going to use these little trim screws that we found on the side. We'll use that as a little anchor point for some support straps. So that's the next part, and then we'll strap down the system and do a little test run, fill it up with our luggage and see how everything fits, because we've got our camping equipment and a cooler box and body boards and all that to go in. We have to give it a test and see what fits and where it's all going to go. So far so good. So it's the morning of day 3. We actually finished building the frame and everything probably yesterday about midday, but then we had a long lunch with the family and enjoyed ourselves doing that. So I didn't get a chance to really do another video update. So now it's first thing in the morning. I've got a spare moment to quickly do this. Just give you a quick rundown of the basic setup that we have here. We've got a bit of space, as you can see, under here, which is where our water and cooler box will go, and we've got another space like that on the other side where our personal belongings will go that we haven't brought down from the house yet. In the back here, so this is with the seats pushed all the way forwards. The frame is a folding frame. The reason that we did this is so we can have a third passenger seat under there, which my brother showed in the previous video, what we linked onto this. That allows us to have three people legally sitting in the vehicle. We can sleep 2 inside. It is a bit tight, but it's enough space for a sort of a double bed in the back here. And with the seats pushed all the way forwards, it's about 190 centimeters, which is enough for most, average height people. In the back here, got a couple of these cardboard boxes. They're only a temporary solution. We are going to get some plastic tubs that are taller and longer, but we didn't want to borrow any from the house and then have to throw them away, so we just took the cardboard boxes to use temporarily for the next few days until we can buy some new boxes. We've got some storage in the side, so we've got just that plywood sheet just as a little barrier.
And we've got our little portable gas stove and camp stools and all sorts of equipment stuffed in there. Same on the other side, we've got all our surfing gear and equipment and wetsuits and everything just temporarily stuffed in there until we find a better way of packing everything. And we've still got a lot of space underneath the bed, so that's why we're going to get the larger, longer plastic tubs, just to utilise that space a bit better. We did consider putting a shelf in this back area and then having two rows of boxes, but basically the complexity to do that and the way that it might take up the space, we decided against it. We do have a fold-out bench, which is just underneath the end here. We were a little bit concerned about it being annoying, but because that's where the pillow is, you don't actually feel it when you're actually laying in the bed, so it works pretty well. So the bench, I'll try and do it one-handed way there. So lift this up. It's a bit awkward, and you know, still got to fine-tune these things. It's just a temporary sheet as well. So that's our bench, and we've just put a coating of like kitchen bench oil on there just to make it water resistant and a little bit more hygienic. And there's just a little bit of this high tensile sort of nylon string on each side that just helps support the bench as well as the hinges where it's attached to the frame. We did a similar design to this on our what was it, a Montero Sport, a Mitsubishi Challenger, when we were in Chile, and the rear bench was really handy because we could still get to everything we needed underneath, but we had the bench on top to be able to prepare food and put the cooker, and we sort of have a little awning with a rear door, so that's over the top, so if it's raining a little bit, we still have the space that we can prepare breakfast and get ready and do things in the back without being directly in the rain, which is really nice. So about the vehicle, this is a Citroen Berlingo Multispace. It's a 2017 model, I believe. The 2018 model is a little bit different to this one. We leased this through the Citroen Europass program, which is available only to residents and citizens outside of the European Union. It's a special scheme basically for tourists to be able to lease a vehicle at a rate that's generally cheaper than renting a vehicle, and you get a brand new vehicle of your choice. So we took the Berlingo because it's a small vehicle, it's easy to park and drive, and it still had just enough internal space for a very simple campervan fit out. So I've seen more complex fit outs, but they've obviously taken a lot more time and effort to build. We built this in a day and a half, and it cost about 120, 130 euros, including the aluminium tubing and the plywood and everything else that we've used. So cheap, simple, easy, lightweight, does the job. We've got seating in here for 3 people. We can sleep 2 on the bed and plus 2 in the tent. And the vehicle, whatever they call it, MPV, like a minivan, it drives really well. It's a manual diesel, but we didn't have any problems with it. It's a really, really smooth gearbox, really easy and simple to drive. So we drove 650 kilometers when we first picked it up, the first day, here to the property in Belgium, and it was smooth sailing the whole way. So far so good. Hopefully it continues that way into the future. We don't expect to have any problems with it. We're really happy with the vehicle so far, just because it's pretty small, it's pretty low key. Got the dual sliding doors on both sides, which is a really nice feature. Makes it really easy to get to all our equipment underneath the bed. And then we've got the boot with a little window pop out on the rear door, and lots of space in the back as well. So yeah, we're really stoked with the setup. So far so good. Obviously we've got 3 months planned to be using this vehicle, so we'll find out exactly how great the camper setup is, and we might have to make a few modifications and adjustments along the way. But until then, we're really happy with it, and we're looking forward to hitting the road and doing some travelling. Alrighty, so here we are in beautiful southwest Scotland on the coast. We're heading off to Ireland tomorrow morning, so we just parked here, and I just wanted to do a little add-on to our build video. So here's the camper setup as it is after 2.5 weeks of living in it. We've made a few modifications and upgrades since the original build video, so I just wanted to quickly show you that. Bodyboards strapped to the side. We've got a little makeshift clothesline across the top here, which we can remove when we're finished with it. Black sheets on the bed just help it blend in. Sorry. We've got our curtains up the front. That's a full black block-out curtain as well, which works really well. Got a little reflective stuff on one window. We don't need it on the other. And also on these back windows, we've got the privacy cling on there as well. And it's been working really well. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly show you how it's looking. And I will be doing another video in the near future just going through this design in a bit more detail and sort of going through a couple of the pros and cons to the design and things that I would do differently next time if I had more space and more resources available to me. So anyway, check out that. Stay tuned for that in the near future. And until then, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped someone out there.